Welcome to the V. Lenore Show. Here, we will discuss lifestyle, beauty, celebrity gossip, and current events in our own way, my way, V style. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Now, hold on here. Look, I can't have playback when I got a big Hollywood star on my show. We're going to do this one more time. Okay, right after this.
Welcome to the V. Lenore Show. Here, we will discuss lifestyle, beauty, celebrity gossip, and current events in our own way, my way, V style. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the V. Lenore Show. Thank you guys for coming. You guys were waiting for somebody special. Were you waiting for me? It was because you knew I was coming on and you were waiting for me? Sure. Claire Monet, thank you, darling, for becoming a member tonight. Thank you so much. Hey, Sarkonos. Hey, Peace Love. It's all hot airs here. Hey, honey. Hey, Grace K. All right, guys. Hey, Nessa. Hey, Adore Me. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Hey, Shell Loves. How are you guys tonight? So I'm excited. I know you're excited because I've heard about it for the last couple of days, okay? I know you're excited. I get it. Okay, you'll be here in a second, all right? But let's talk about business first, all right? So tonight, this interview is going to be a little shorter than I normally have an interview, unless he's just feeling it, But other than that, I've held him to, I said, hey, we're just going to have like a 45-minute interview, and then we're going to move over to members only. All right. So guys, if you want to be a part of our members only conversation, where you can ask him any questions that I missed, if there's something that, I just didn't touch on, and you just want to dig a little deeper. Now, I can't guarantee he'll answer everything, but you can ask him, all right? So feel free to do that, and, as long as you're respectful. But this is only for members. And let me say this too, members. For the rest of this month, which is 2 more days, and all of July, anybody I have on, and I do these types of interviews where we have the Q&A, then all of that, all levels of the membership are included. So even if you come in at the lowest level tier, you still are included with that, okay? So for $3.99, you too can speak with Charles Malik Whitfield, all right? Tonight, $3.99, all right? So anywho, with that said, I'm excited that he is here tonight. And I told him I was trying to save him. I was trying to save him till later. But you know what? The universe sometimes has other plans. And now is the time. And I knew because as I mentioned to you all before, that I find him to be one of the most gracious individuals I've ever met, but especially in this business that he's in. And so it's always a pleasure to talk to him. And I think you're going to find out why. So you may know him as an actor and even as a producer, but you will come to find out that he's much more than that. And he's a really cool human being with a really incredible story that we're going to hear tonight. So, with that said, let me bring up my friend, Mr. Charles Malik Whitfield. Hi,
Hey,
Malik.
what's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so great to see you.
It's
I
good to
tell
see you too. Now, let me tell you this. I'm sick of these women in this chat right now. I'm sick of you and your lips. All three of y'all have gotten on my nerves the last 2 days. These people couldn't wait to get you here.
Hey, well,
Just so,
the lips are here. I'm here.
and he's gonna share. He's gonna talk through them, and he's gonna share some good stuff. So how have you been though? You've been busy.
I've been busy, been
Yeah,
good.
you look
Um,
so young.
hey, listen, we're trying to Benjamin Button this,
You
that
doing it.
as that black don't crack keeps it moving. But we're trying to stay as flexible as possible. I tell you.
Yes, yes. And look, I know for a fact that you were on, at least over the last 3 years, you've been on like a couple of different series that were running simultaneously, right?
Yes.
You're always filming some independent project.
I'm always doing something independent. I just find a lot of love and passion and support. Sometimes, vicariously through people that I've not only met through the course of time, but also people that I also hold in high regard with so much
Mhm.
respect. And, it doesn't always have to be my vision. Sometimes I'm able to impart and support someone else's vision. And that's just as exciting for me.
Well, you are always doing that for me. Like anytime I come to you and I say, Malik, I'm thinking about doing this, you're always like, okay, let's meet on Monday and talk about the plan. Write it down, do this. He gives me homework, which makes me not want to talk to him quite as often because I never get my homework done. But but you're really good at helping people get centered and encouraging them to at least trying it, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, to just take a chance.
Yeah, I believe that there's really nothing much that we can't do I think that when we have those moments where we get uncomfortable and we get a little
Yeah.
fearful and we get scary of what potentially may not happen, I believe that's where you have to really step straight and walk straight ahead. Don't try and flinch. Don't try and get around it. Don't try and finesse it. Just kind of go straight on and deal with it. And more than anything, not only the younger kids, but so many people that are around everyone. Sometimes we hold ourselves so accountable, but while we're holding ourselves accountable, we don't speak and we don't voice what our dreams are. We don't express what our needs are, what our concerns are, because
Mhm.
all of a sudden there's this strong word where we get to defer, and all of a sudden have somebody else say, "Hey, if you go about it this way, and then with a contribution of X, Y, and Z, it kind of raises your standard and your expectations. And so, does it mean that you will achieve what you want? Not necessarily, but you'll enjoy the process. And all of a sudden, along the way, if you've allowed yourself to find incredible people that you get to defer to, well, then you've been fortunately blessed and you've won. The investment may not pay off at that moment, but you keep investing, and it sure will.
I agree with that. I tell people all the time, and my supporters in particular know this. I talk about networking and
Mm.
the importance that, I've heard it so many times that your network is your net worth. And so for me, if I'm the the smartest, the most successful person in my group, then I'm in the wrong group. I'm never going to grow. And I find that when you ask for the help, it does show up. If you let God know, if you say it out loud, the universe will respond accordingly if your intentions are pure. And you know, for me, it has always been a blessing to have great resources in the friendships, the relationships that I have. Because I tell people all the time, I may not be rich monetarily, but in relationships, I am wealthy. I'm wealthy.
I mean, and that right there is quintessential to really creating a happy and dynamic life,
Yeah.
you know, because everyone's interpretation is of the journey of what do I want and how do I get there?
Mhm.
Well, you can want a lot of things, and what you want today is not what you want tomorrow.
Right.
But find peace of mind and a foundation that allows you reverence to know that today may be about you, but tomorrow has nothing to do with you. So
Mm.
pour into what is for someone else, and you'll
Mm.
see how that dividend in return can be far greater than your expectations could ever even
All
imagine.
right.
You know, and so it's a process. You know, and I always think of, you know, when we talk about all that goes in the world, we're always going through traumas. We're going through so many different uncomfortable moments. And so, how do we get comfortable in saying thank you? Because this trauma, this uncomfortable moment, this failure, you know,
Mm.
people applaud the successes. People revere and all of the lights and all the accomplishments, but they don't necessarily understand all of the failures and all of the moments that have allowed you to fall short. But it's those moments that allow our heart to break,
Yep.
because our hearts have been broken. But because your intentions are pure, that's how you exponentially grow, and you can then be appreciative when you're in the presence of good people, of kind people, of an
Mhm.
opportunity far greater than yourself. And then you want to become, hopefully through the process, selfless. You know,
Mhm.
it's not all about us, and no matter how much we gather and take
Mhm.
here and bring into our bosom, well, in order to keep it moving, you still got to let it go. You just won't have the greatest balance trying to balance and hold all those things, and you won't be able to move
Yep.
strong, and it's with a clear purpose, because you are so worried on holding on these things that have allowed you these little moments of importance, and they've
Yep.
built these false deities, these false gods, that you have become a slave to the rhythm of,
Yep.
you know. And
True.
freedom is peace. Freedom is knowing that when we leave here, we're just gonna smile. Don't cry for me. Just know I enjoyed every moment completely.
Mm-hmm. Listen to Malik. That's why he's played these preachers and stuff and these shows, and he's out here
You
preaching,
know, it's real. It's
motivational
real.
speaker.
It's real. You know, I probably because, you know, when I look at life, I always try to look at life, and even when I explain things, and I deal with even some of the young actors that I work with who are phenomenal, and they're in all age ranges and around the nation, and out the country, but they're phenomenal,
Mhm.
and really, really talented young individuals who I'm excited, hopefully, that the world will get to share their awesome talent in. They're multi-phased in different capacities, whether it be writing and acting and promoting and producing and directing. They're really present, and they are really, really exceptional. So I not only commend them, but in order to speak to one person, I also have to speak from a multitude of perspectives, right? Because the way in which we see things sometimes is the way in which we receive things. And sometimes I may be saying one thing, and it's okay to say, well, I don't really get, and I don't understand what you mean. So you mean this. And so so the approach always has to come from a different aspect, because even in the understanding of our youth, you know, we understand, especially young men and women, that there's a stride that we get in our life that we feel that we are, you know, immortal, you know, and then we finally get to another place and we start to understand all around us the mortality and
Yep.
the fragileness of our lives, and in an instant, it can all be thrown out of whack. But as long as we have some purpose, as long as we have a few good people to love us, check in on us, support us, it wouldn't matter where you live, how you live, as long as you're doing it with the right intentions, you know. And I think that kind of speaks volumes to what it is that you do, and that's why I love everything that you do. I'm a supporter of what you do because you do a lot of things with the right intentions, you know, and that's to create a vision. So yeah, so you're gonna get some homework. You're gonna get some homework because I need to check those. I need to check those lists. Check them off the list. Check them off.
Speaking of which, did somebody else call you?
No.
Okay, they're calling you.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
He knows. Okay.
Okay.
So with that stated, let's go back a taste. All right. Where are you from, Leek?
I'm from the Bronx, the PA. You know, and they say in New York City, you know, a lot of people go, hey, you know, Brooklyn, where Brooklyn at, where Queens at. I'm from the place where they say the, and then it goes Bronx, home of the hip hop. Grew up around the corner from all the other guys and Melly Mel and Furious Five. And, I mean, the Fast Furious. I mean, all of these cats. Just the hub of breakdancing right down the block from me with Brian and Chino and the Incredible Breakers. And so I was really a interesting time growing up in the early 70s, because not only that, the Bronx that I grew up in was pretty much very much so burnt down. So we didn't really understand how much we lived in such a harsh, impoverished circumstance because it's just all we knew. We didn't really understand the other four corners of what was far reaching or what else did the world or even outside of the city limits. What did it have to offer us? You know, so I understand the repetitive cadence of when there's harsh circumstances and there's a lack of opportunities where you become hopeless and you start to say, you know what, when you become so hopeless that you start to feel like you're imploding. You know, we walked around with a frown on our face, understanding, I don't know what you're looking at, but whatever you're looking at, we're going to get to it and handle it. So that was going to be a fight. That was going to be a situation. And it wasn't because we all wanted to be fighters or become violent. It was that in order to survive, you might as well have made sure that you weren't victim and look the person that's trying to victimize you right in the eyes, because you should know that you'll never forget their face. And then to forget their faces in order to move on, but to be hit over the head and not known who's done it is also to create another process of fragility for the mind, and looking at everyone as if everyone has done it. And so it was a heck of a process growing up in New York City, in the Bronx, through Brooklyn, Malcolm X, Halsey. You know, when you grow up in New York City, people kind of think that, you know, when a New Yorker really grows up in New York City, you say, I'm from the Bronx. Well, back then, and I'm not going to speak to now, that meant that you pretty much traveled every borough, and you probably know just about almost everybody in every borough, especially if you're walking around, running around, or even playing in the streets, whether it be basketball, football, touch, stickball, which was prominent back then. So that fabric, that nuance kind of resonates for me wherever I go. It's a very comfortable zone. California is very different from the East Coast, but there's also these other beneficial factors. So you know, that's where I'm from. Home of the New York Yankees. I'm still a big Yankee fan. Used to go there. Used to play football there. Used to be called McCombs Park. Right where they're playing now was another park, and they were across the street. But now where they built it, it's the new Yankee Stadium. I haven't been there, to the new Yankee Stadium, but you know, my heart's always in New York, and hopefully I'll be trekking my way back to New York to get on Broadway and hit that stage again sometime in the near future. Right? You put it out there and claim it.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm interested. Okay, we'll get to that because I'm interested to guess what you might do. So,
Hmm.
anywho, is it something familiar to
It all
us?
depends. It all depends. I think we pivot. It could change. It may be
Uh,
something I have to develop
okay,
well,
okay,
and work with some key essential people there that are really kind of great in that aspect. But I believe it's something that I'm looking forward to returning.
nice.
That's a done. It's a done deal.
Nice. Hold on one second. The
Absolutely.
the Tea Lounge. Thank you so much for your super chat. Hey, V. Lenore, does he remember Afi?
Well, you might have froze for a second. Can you hear me? I said Afi Bijou.
Oh, am I
Right
back?
there you go. She
Okay.
said, "Do I remember Afi Bijou?"
Yeah. Do you remember that name or know that person?
Name is very familiar. You got to give me a little bit of reference from where.
Okay. Tea Lounge. I'll keep an
Tell her,
eye
yeah,
out in the
she can,
chat.
yeah, tell her like from where because
Okay.
name is extremely familiar, but it will probably ring a bell even stronger if she tells me he or she. T Lounge says from where.
Okay. All right. Tea Lounge is female.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll keep an eye out in the chat, T Lounge, or hey Coupon, if you see it, Coupon or Fedora, either one of you, if you see it, you can just message me, and then I'll read it. All right. So, what were your family dynamics growing up?
Well, I grew up with my mom and dad. Grew up with three wonderful sisters, two older. One I was very close in age with, Vanessa, Charlene, and Aisha. My baby sister, she all grown. I can't. She's still my, you know.
Uh,
And but I grew up in a family dynamic with, especially during that time. Uh, to grow up in the Bronx during that time, and my parents were educators. Top Pops taught at Fordham University. Mom taught at Julia Richmond High School down in Manhattan, and but they were working all the time. And back then, anything to be considered middle class was really actually we were poor. And when I say we were poor, I mean that they were working all the time, which beyond us being latchkey kids, which meant that we literally took ourselves to school at 6, 7 years old, and we just walked however far through Webster projects and everywhere else to go to school or get down to junior high school. Even as it developed, we were pretty much on our own. We saw our way out the house in the morning. We saw our way back in late at night. And when one had trouble, then we were able to jump other people or older people in order to survive. Or at the end of the day, I had to learn how tough the streets were, and I had to get my hands nice because I was going to fight every single day, which was very normal. So that was really a norm for quite many of us, especially with older kids. It wasn't considered necessarily bullying. It was you going to get your hands right, make sure you can fight, and at the end of the day, don't put your head down and don't be taken advantage of. And that's not an easy thing to do and deal with. Can be very scary for a young person, but I believe I became a lot more insensitive to that journey and dynamic because I watched a lot of young people and older adults, whatever it was, when they were going through their heroin phase or drug phase, get shot right in front of me, die in front of my doorsteps. That when you see that such as a norm as a young kid, you become insensitive to that to a great deal. So it didn't affect me in a necessary in a bad way. Whereas now, the last 15 years or so, everyone's talking about PTSD. I'm like, well, PTSD ain't an excuse when I'm growing up. It's just that's just the way it is. Police all included, and all of the above. So the family dynamics was very difficult not having my dad there on a basis and out there trying to hustle and work and do so many things, but also for my mom to come in, work extremely late, and also be teaching nursing even in the evening, to get in at 10 at night and try and stay awake or hang out with my dad to about 2 in the morning, only to get back up at 4 in the morning and return to back to the same day. So I understand the grind and the hustle, and I get a lot of hard work and accountability from them. But I
Mhm.
also know that there were some missing elements, especially in my upbringing, even though most people looked at me and said, man, but I'm saying, you grew up, you grew up with your dad in the house. How does that feel? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, hard. Sometimes he's not there. We also had broken relationships because the way in which he wasn't able to kind of nurture me as a dad that I would have kind of loved. Going to a Yankee game, going out to play catch or football. Those things didn't happen for me with him, unfortunately,
Who
because
would you turn to? How'd you compensate for that?
I didn't compensate. There was nothing to compensate for. Really, the people that I was around and the older adults that I were around, um, they became very good friends. Not gang members, none of that. Um, they looked out for you. We look out for certain kids in the neighborhood, and some of the older cats, some of them hustled, and many didn't. Um, but you get insight from certain people. I mean, unfortunately, I watched a good 10 or 12 close friends. You run around for one moment playing Ring Olivia, and the next moment they're all doing life and doing 20 to 30, and in unfortunate circumstances and situations. Did it make them bad people? No, but rough choices, tough decisions, and when in the heat
Mhm.
of the moment, it all goes up. And so I also know that I made a lot of wrong decisions, um, because not because my dad wasn't around, but because I understood how hard they worked. It also embedded a passion inside of me. Then what am I contributing as a young person? What am I able to bring to the house? How do I stand here and create relief?
Hmm.
Because I can't take care of myself, but to so much. And so to have the opportunity to run the streets and start to sell drugs and realize that it was more financially inviting and actually a catapult for me to understand that this is what's going on. But there's another harsh reality and karma that you have to deal with, that that the spirit has to deal with, when you know that you are actual an ingredient to people harming themselves or destroying their lives. Many people that I knew and cared about and loved no longer here or died. Some
Mhm.
overdose, some from different circumstances and situations. And when you're in this place where, if you ain't getting it from me and you're getting it from someone else, what I'm supposed to do? You going down 10, 15 blocks to somebody else to go get the same thing that I got. You
And
know,
that's what I was going to ask you. I can understand once you're older, you're more mature, you can make those rationalizations. That's rationally thinking.
me, I,
That's
for me, I
that's
got
a
into the
grown adult. But as a kid, you just see, oh, I sell this and I get this. It
well,
gets
well, for
harder to
myself,
convince.
I wouldn't even give myself an excuse or an out on that, because even at a very young age, I mean, that's what I was introduced to in different facets, but also to older people. So I always dealt with a lot of older
Mhm.
people. So I was very aware
Gotcha.
of what of the cause and effects. However, there's also a lifespan that a young man chooses when he says, I'm willing to die like this. And at a young age, I knew I was willing to die. I was okay knowing that I was not going to make it, because I did not see a future. I did not see an opportunity of what could that look like for me to be 19 or 20. So that's kind of to live in hopelessness, but to also understand that everything that's working around me pragmatically, no one cares what's going on. Everybody's getting to the money, but the money, the more you get to the money, the more you see the destruction. So also that's extremely off-putting and destroying, because at the end of the day you go, well, if education is the key, then I want the education, but also at the end of the day, I also don't want to live in the harsh, most awful, worst circumstances. And so
Mhm.
that becomes about a story of what are our kids and what do people have options and availability and accessibility to different avenues. And so I was introduced to a teacher who just was brazen and fearless of me for sure, and introduced me into acting. I had no idea, no interest in acting at all, and so it was that journey of being intrigued and checking it out, and not buying into it, but to see what it is, kind of check it out, and to go through that metamorphosis with her, as well as a lot of very talented people that she worked with, even older, and I can see them how profoundly and impacted their performances as well had on me. Intrigued me. What could happen if I could maybe lend myself to that? And that was the journey of me kind of finding my voice. That for the things that I couldn't say, I still could say through other people's material and work, and also be emotionally connected to it, and hopefully be a part of a story worth saying. Um, Other than that, along the journey, there's no one particular person that has impacted my life, but she's completely saved my life. But then I've had many people in different phases of my life that have lent themselves to me and lifted me up beyond measure. When I think of Greg Hines, that mentored me and would call me, when you had to break through a phone and say emergency phone call, blah blah blah, and somebody won't get off the phone. Or my sisters are probably on the phone talking to some boy, and and just to come back home and go, hey, Gregory Hines called you up. Well, call me
That's
for
great.
you know. And I call him back. Hey, Lee, what's up? How are you? You keep going.
Oh my gosh.
And I go, man, I appreciate this so much. And sometimes, I think that and I say we, all of us on here, all of us, our family members, we never realize how much love coming from and being thought of by someone can be a healing love, and also a conduit to an extra boost and fuel and incentive to say, you know what, I want to stick with something. It still doesn't make sense. I still don't know how, it was like, I love to love the industry, but how can I live off being an actor, an artist? What does that mean? I'm like, I'd look at all of the beautiful artists and the, Basquiat's and all that. And I go, I don't want to be broke. I mean,
Right.
I want to enjoy the art, but I want to pay some
Right.
bills.
I do not want to be a starving artist.
I like to eat. I'm a foodie, you know. But the truth of the matter is, no matter what happens, this business, this life, this world, there's always a high and there's always a low, and we just try and find the middle. I don't try and get too high when things are good and going in a positive direction, and I try not to get too low when they're not. I just think there's a new opportunity to set out a new goals, to set out a new um, plan of attack, a plan of appreciation, a moment to sit back, rever, and also be kind to myself, and know that, I mean, look, for all the auditions I wish I could have got, yeah, you know, it didn't happen. And for the ones that I did, I was so thankful for them as well. And so somebody said something about fresh. What did they ask?
Okay, so this is the Tea Lounge. So the Tea Lounge said the movie Fresh, she may have been McClendon then. Were you in the movie Fresh?
Yes, I was, with Boaz Yankin and Sam Jackson and Sean. You know what? I know her for sure. People in Fresh were so amazing. I still pay homage to my dear friend Curtis McLaren, who passed away he had a brain aneurysm. It's been some years now. It's been some years, but he was a fantastic actor, and me and him got to work side by side. And Anthony Thomas and you know, so many, so many, you know, so many phenomenal artists. And yeah, it was a great film. It was a great film.
Well, let me ask you this. So, how old were you when that teacher introduced you to acting? That's the first question.
14,
And how old?
14.
You 14. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. You skipped over something I remember distinctly in your story because it just messes me up.
It's a
At
lot of
12
it's a lot
years
of
old.
story.
Huh?
Go ahead.
What did you just say?
There's a lot in the story.
At 12 years old, you'd earned a lot of money, sir, right?
Well, the time that I earned a lot of money was pretty much, it really kind of robbing around with 13 going on 14. Um, and I probably made about $1 million. I made more than $1 million, but even when you say that, when
Crazy.
selling drugs and doing the wrong thing, trust me, it's the
Right.
wrong.
No, we're not glorifying that. I
Oh
just
no.
think that in my
But
mind, that is so foreign in my mind that, first of all, the first foreign part of it is that you did it. Okay, that's the first part. Okay.
well,
Not
there's a
that
process.
you,
Well, there's a process to that.
I
You
get it. I get it.
there's a process, and not only that, there's a process of a lot of people, not a lot of people, but when I met certain people, and I was kind of taught the game a particular way. And me being taught the game a particular way wasn't for me to go sell drugs with black people, because
Okay.
unfortunately, my young black people was the first people that were going to rob you and not allow you to continue. And listen, holds true to this day. I don't understand why, but it was an ugly situation. But money breeds contempt in a bad way. It really does, because it's a false tool. It can be a tool to be really of help to a lot of people, but truthfully, I mean, even when I earned it, it wasn't as if this is my $1 million. And let me just break it down. You know, there's a bunch of people that take the same risk that you take, and everyone kind of has their piece.
Stake in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but our stake in it is also, um, some people choose to put back, and people choose to go live it out. Whatever it is. The unfortunate part is me being so young. I didn't know what to do with my money.
Right.
And it
But
was really
didn't you say you had an
that
apartment?
I go and with it, huh? But I
Didn't you say
also,
you
but I
had an
also,
apartment around that
I
time,
also,
didn't you?
I also have my own apartment.
I was like, what?
But and so to know my mom and dad, yeah, on going on 14 to 15, I was kicked out the house. So I, it's really interesting when I hear so many young men and like, I need a roommate or blah blah. I've never done that. I've lived on my own since 14, 15. That was it. And I have those moments in between and stay at my sister's house for a month or two and figure it out. But I just was always that kind of individual, and I always believed that if nothing's going on, then it's time for me to wake up at 5 a.m. and figure it out, because something's going on. And so that was a
Right.
drive for me. So I couldn't identify with the journey of, I'm just going to hang out or somebody's going to give me something. um,
Mm.
and and I think I had a moment for a second, which I was very not proud of, and I was thankful for my mentor, even when she flew me out to California. Was that I was hitting, I was going back to a repetitive cycle, because when I chose to stop doing the negative running around in the streets,
Mhm.
well, it's really hard. It's really, really hard when you're trying to go get the regular job and people talking to you crazy. And it's like, hey, you clock in, you gonna clock out right now. It's lunch. And you like,
Dude, you know how much
but it's not even about the money you make. It's just the way in which people,
it, well,
and,
okay.
and that was kind of difficult. But then also your time, because time management becomes really important when you know what you can do with your time. And,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but it was a really interesting journey, because you have to, with all that your fabric and being, when you choose to walk away and move away from that, it doesn't mean that you still won't have to deal with the causes and effects of your actions. I still dealt with that later on, and I was happy to deal with that, and even have my life. I mean, I've had different instances where I could easily lost my life, and even at 14 being shot, later on being stabbed, and this and that, and so there's different facets of the journey, but it's the interpretation of what money brings you, and it doesn't bring you any control, and doesn't bring you any leverage. It,
Yes, it does.
what? No, it doesn't. Let me tell you. This is real. This is very real. To be a young person, running around hustling is to live a life where you're always looking over your shoulder, you're paranoid. There really isn't a great peace of mind. It's very difficult to trust anyone. The people
Yeah.
that you do trust, the very few that you see and are very close to your heart today, is gone tomorrow, and you're burying them. It changes
Mm,
the context of all of it, and so there's nothing more than to have peace of mind and know that you look in your bank account and the bank account looks phenomenal, which I don't care whose bank account has looked phenomenal at one point. As quick as it became cute is as quick as it's not, you know. So, but it's a peace of mind to say, well, look, I'm not looking for anyone to come, because there's something for them to steal. Like that's not the movement,
right.
So know how we move past that and how it transcends. It's just a great peace of mind. I see so many young brothers and older brothers. How do you break the habit, right? Because it's a journey, right? And sometimes you become like, like I'm a lifer dad. I'm a dad for life. Like I'm not like a dad like you made it to 18, baby. You won your own. Shorty, you done did it. Go on. You too,
Ciao,
boy.
bye.
Hey, I did my part. I'm a lifer dad. I'm a dad for life. I'm always gonna be concerned and caring, but when you also are caught in a situation and circumstances and you're hustling, and you get to a place in your life that you only know the hustle, you only know to make it a little tricky, then you become a life of hustler, you know,
Mm,
and that's not a comfortable place to be because you're always gonna come up short. There's always gonna be the you not gonna believe this. Like I'm too old for that. Like I don't want to hear you not gonna believe. Like I believe it. I just don't. I don't want the drama. I'm like, if it's not peaceful, it's not good energy. Like, I grew up in New York, so I like to fight. That's a
oh
legitimate thing.
God.
It's like a legitimate thing. Like, oh, it's an issue, it's a problem. Maybe we should fight. But you get to a certain age, you're like, no, you get to a certain age, you're like, I'm not fighting you. I'm not. At the
Right.
end of the day, like my power is in how can I let you know how much I don't want to fight you, but how I want to fight for you. How
Mm.
can I tell you how I want to fight with you? And how, if
Okay.
you're that frustrated and upset, how can I also be a service to a peace of mind? Right?
Mm,
Because when I was younger, it was only about me, I. So me and I doesn't matter anymore. That don't matter. Like the baton is about the people that we're around. Like I get so excited about like even time that I get to spend time talking to you. I have a few good people. Another guy, Taruk, out in Atlanta. My guy, um, um, my guy Mike in Dallas. Big Mike. There's a few people I love talking to. And my boy Kenny. Spending this time with certain people, it's not about what you pour in to one person, but how they also pour into you. And that's the magic of life that you can just say, I'm so excited I got to spend time with you. This is how beautiful.
right. Right.
You know?
Uh-oh.
I started talking about my children. So one of my kids thought they just try and call right now.
Oh, it's okay. Well, look, I'll tell you what we're going to do real
Yeah.
quick. Let me ask you a quick question. Well,
Yeah.
couple quick questions. We're going to
You
take
can you can hit me with anything. You can hit me with anything you want.
all right. All right. Well, look, let me ask you this. What year was it that you got your first big gig? And what would you call your first big gig?
My
Was
first big
Behind Enemy Lines your first big gig? Or no?
No, see, because I quit acting in between for a minute, and
Oh, yes.
my oldest son, was a good reason for me to stop hustling, and also to try and get back in high school and get a diploma. And so I was having him going on 17, so he's about to be 34, and so my biggest, and I'll tell you the story. Let me tell you the story. It's funny. I got a phone call. I started working I got two jobs. So many people know you get two jobs. I worked at UPS, and I also worked at Sam Goody. It was a music store.
Oh yeah.
Now I worked at Rockefeller Center. And so, I had to put these shoes on and dress a particular way. And hey, how can I help you? What music CD are you looking for? All of that. And the days were long there. I'd be there from 9, 10 to about 6 in the evening, 5. And then I'd go straight home, eat a little bit, come back downtown on 40 something street to UPS on the west side highway for people who know New York. And then I had to go put in these 4 hours. They wouldn't let me work more than 4 hours. And after a couple months there, I finally got, health coverage too, which was important, having a child. Mm-hmm. And so the difficult part was, what am I really going to do, knowing that I'm working these 2 jobs, but I'm really not making any money. So the harder I worked and the longer I worked, the sicker I felt, the tired I felt, the more frustrated I felt. And then I was also fortunate to have my family around, my sisters, my mom. They would look out to try and help me as best they could with him. Yeah. But it also gave me a grand new perspective on what it took to be a single parent, because his mom decided to bounce off and do her own thing for a good little moment. And I found myself like, dude, so I got to get to the babysitter, make sure the food's there, then get back here, get the, pick him up, make sure I pay her for the day, get back, drop him off back with the family, have an hour spin around, go back downtown. Well, that was a lot. That was a lot. And so in between that time, I got a phone call. Her name's Tanya Cunningham. Is Tanya Cunningham. I'm going to say is Tanya Cunningham. Wonderful, wonderful Black sister. She called my mother and said, your son's still acting? He goes, well, he's been working right now. And, and I had trained at all these, I got these scholarships at all these world-renowned places to train. And there's a play going on for him. Tell him to go down to Toro College, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And I said, she said, call Tanya. There's a project for you. There might even be a film as well. And I said, what? Oh my goodness. This is like, well, God brought me this, right? I needed this. Thank you, Jesus. So I call her. She goes, listen, be there tomorrow. And he's a really talented actor. I liked him a lot too. I would audition against him. He did some really good movies. He should really, he was so good. He should really have had a fantastic career. I don't know, but everybody goes their different pathways. So I get down there the next day. Well, the argument, and when he had quit this play, I guess the director and him mended it in between that time. But that night, when before going into the next day, I went into UPS and I was like, I'm so happy to tell y'all I'm quitting. I'm going to go back to doing theater and doing stage like I should have been doing in the first place. I am up out of here.
And I hate you all.
You serious? They were like, I couldn't stand them. They were putting me in 18-wheeler trailers. It was slavery. It just was wrong. I said, nobody's going to come help me? And they were clocking me too. Like, you're not fast enough. You're not moving fast enough. I was like, this job really is not for me. So anyway, I quit the job, whipped my chest out. I quit it, and I need the money. I still need the money, take care of the babysitter. But I go there the next evening, because now I have the evening free to rehearse and blah, 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 blah. And let's go. Show the world what I got. And I went there and Tanya was like, look, so there's a situation. I was like, what's the situation? And I'm so thankful for her. And the guy came back, so they worked it out overnight. So the role's not open anymore. And I said, the role's not open. And my heart dropped. I just quit this job. What do you mean the role's not open? I gotta have this. And she said, I'm gonna let you talk to the director. The director said, hey, sorry, we figured this out. I hear you're a really good actor. So here's what I'll do for you. You can be the understudy, and just follow him. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not anybody's understudy. If it's not the lead.
Right.
And so I walked out.
You knew that then. Okay.
Oh, it was deep. It was deep in me. And so I was walking out, and a sister said, hey, brother, I'm telling you, hey, brother. And I said, hey, what's up, sister? How you doing? She goes, are you here for the play? And I said, nah. I was, they told me I was going to do these rehearsals and this role was mine, but now it's not happening. And she was like, that's okay. She said, maybe you should read for this play. I said, well, and she said, give me a picture in your resume. I said, oh man, I don't even got a picture and resume anymore. Like, I still need new headshots and, that's a whole nother thing. And she said, okay. She said, you got any monologues? I said, oh, I got monologues for days. And she said, okay, brother, you'll do some monologues. And then the director and such. But anyway, I went in for this play and I put it down and then I had to come back. And then they let me read the material and I was excited about that. And then a week later, said, brother, you're going to come back. It's between you and one other person. And you'll be reading with the director and just you and them going back and forth. I said, yes. I said, nothing's going to stop me from getting this play. And that few nights before I got the flu. And I was so
Malik,
sick.
Stop it.
I promise you, I was so sick. And then the worst thing when I walked in for the play, here was this gentleman, fantastic actor, one of my dearest friends to this day. He's fantastic. I just brought his name up a week ago. Sheikh Mohammed Bey. And he did Night Falls Manhattan with Andy Garcia and all that stuff. But that movie came later. He was so dynamic that I couldn't stand him and Frenchie Napier, one of his close friends, because every time I wanted to do fences, they were out doing it. And I said, I can't get a job, right? And this was before I quit. So here I was, myself and Sheikh Mohammed Bey. And I had the flu. And I said, you know what? I don't care what it takes, but I'm going to get this play. So I ended up getting this wonderful play that ended up taking me to Lincoln Square, and then also allowed me to not only be seen by all of these producers, directors, casting people, and I went on to go work with, don't make me mess up his theater, Vice Child at the New Federal Theater with Woody King. Sorry, Woody King, respect. And that play also allowed me to work with Michelle Shea, the incomparable Michelle Shea, and Terry Towns. And it also allowed me to work with, I don't want to blow his spot up, but I'm going to say his name because he treated me like his own child, treated me like his own son. His name is Irvin Vincent. And he also worked at ABC and took care of the daytime stuff and produced and this, that, and the other. And you might not reference his name that well, but if I told you his child's name, you'd know it immediately. But he was so dynamic.
You gonna have us Googling.
Well, his son's name is Vin Diesel. And his father is just amazing.
I never, ever
knew. Everybody don't need to know nothing. Everybody, right. Sometimes people want to know too much. You know what I'm saying? But this man, his dad was just incomparable. Not only in the lessons he would give me and the information, and of course as I grew and matured into a young man, also my father, I was finally able to understand my father and all that he had to go through with his trials, tribulations of taking care of family, of being present, trying to go out and hustle. How do you balance that? It's enormous. And also hold a family together. I'm grateful my mom and dad were married 52 years and, he transitioned. Mom is enjoying herself and we're excited about trying to celebrate her 90th coming up.
That's amazing.
Her 90th coming up, my 50th in August. And
amazing.
The journey, right? The journey and the Richter scales. They go a lot. The pentameter goes up and down, But I say that to say when I think of what my biggest moment is, it's not because of film and TV. Gotcha. When I think about my most important role, it always will be. People from calling me. It will always be The Temptations because my love for Otis Williams, but also his family and 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 the gentleman and the phenomenal being he is. It transcends film and TV. I mean, I also put my accolades out. Always, I tip my hat to all of the gentlemen I was fortunate enough to even be in the project with. You never know what's going to stick. You never know what's going to be good. But you
Dude,
know what? We go out to try and do our best, and hopefully that day we find a little bit of magic, and also it is seen and received. And for that, I would say the Temptations is probably allowed me to stay around and even have a tiny bit of a career here and there and work with even more wonderful people.
tiny bit. Look, there's so much we haven't even been able to touch upon, but we're going to take one 30-second break. Come
Take
back.
it.
I got to ask you some questions about the
Let's
Temptation.
make sure we get Dunkin' Donuts in. Let's get some sponsorship. Let's get some sponsorship
Yes,
in this, okay?
yes.
You know.
We'll be back right after this, guys. Right after this. All right. So
we back and we black and we black, y'all. And we back, y'all. And that's a fact,
hey,
y'all.
that makes me think about the beginning of Brown Sugar when it starts. When they're out in the, aren't they in the Bronx when they're filming that?
I believe so.
I think they are, and everybody's talking about what it's like to be on the street corner and seeing the people rap and dance and stuff. So anyway, when I hear that, it always takes me to that movie. But anywho, okay, I got to ask you a few quick questions about the Temptations. First and foremost, how did that part even come about? Like, did you hear about the part and you're like, "That's me. I'm Otis. That's that."
I was
or did
absolutely.
someone pick you out?
It was absolutely not Otis. I wasn't interested in playing the role, and I was not interested. I didn't even really have a vast knowledge of the Temptations, so sometimes ignorance is bliss. Of course, I knew some of the music and the songs, but I just grew up differently. And of course, you could imagine if I grew up and I ran the streets a lot, I really wasn't. I have a heartbeat and a pulse on music, but I didn't have a heartbeat and a pulse on what people watch. Like my youth growing up wasn't watching cartoons on Saturday. I was doing other. No.
I mean, as a little boy.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
No. So it was interesting, right? So it was a different dynamic for me, but more so at the time. I'll give you the short story to it.
Okay.
First off, I wouldn't have done the Temptation if it wasn't for this woman named Jackie Brown Carmen. Okay. Jackie Brown. She cast the movie. She also cast Jackie Brown the movie, and it was her phenomenal insight. Yes, it was for her phenomenal insight that allowed me to meet with the great producer. Don't make me mess her name up right now. She did all the series. Huh?
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
That's one of my idols.
Did all of the Jackson series. She did Lonesome Doves, and a lot of people didn't realize she had won quite a few Emmys way before, and she probably is the epitome of what a African American woman in excellence, thriving not only from the music world but in the television world and the film world, but also people not understanding it was always starting back at one for her.
Yeah.
Because people the block. I wish we can get some more Black girl magic to put it on her.
I have
so
a
Jackie
Suzanne
Brown
DePass story. Remind me to tell you my Suzanne DePass story.
Okay, I love it. Love that. What happened is Doug Jackson and George Jackson and Doug McHenry did a movie that a lot of people loved and fell in love with called New Jack City. So Wesley, of course, phenomenal. Everybody, incredible. Keith Sweat, everybody, you know, Al B. I mean,
I
Christopher.
was about to say Christopher. Yeah.
Christopher. I mean, everybody's
Ice.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Alan Payne, Ice T. So what happened is they wanted to do part two. Wesley wasn't interested in doing it. The studio wanted to do it. Fox wanted to do it. I met with a phenomenal director from London, and so over a long little process, I became the front runner for the movie. But unfortunately, the studio didn't want to invest into, as they put it, a no name really to star in this movie.
Right.
So they championed me. They said, bring everyone else you want. And I won't go down the list of everyone they want. So I had to screen test against everybody for the role. You know, and of course, this was more my,
So those people that you're not going to name that we obviously might recognize, you screen tested against each one of them.
Yes. So I got to screen test against everybody. Plus,
Okay.
you know, you start thinking New Jack City and not only where I grew up and my criteria of my pedigree in that area is very, very, that's really like the back of my hand more than anything. So, you know, I knocked all the competition out. There was no competition as far as I was concerned anyway. And he's, you know, they wanted to put names around me. The director, he said, but there was a certain gentleman at the time, won't put his name on. He's moved on. I've moved on. He just said, I'm not going to make this kid a star. I'm just not going to put $18 million into making this kid a star and a household name. And was the first time that I saw a director. And it hasn't happened many times often after that. Very, really, he's the one. He said, if I don't have him, then you don't have the movie, because he wrote it. He wrote this part two, which was a very good one. And so it went away. So my screen test for the movie, New Jack City, is what floated around the studios. And they said, who's this kid? And Jackie also had it and said, this is the kid you need to hire to play Otis. And they said, there's no way. This dude is killing people and blah, blah, blah. Like, who is this?
He's
and
a
he said,
president.
yeah, you know. And he said, well, no, you should just meet him. Just meet him and you'll know exactly what I mean. You know, it's hard for me to say in hindsight, you know, but I wasn't that character. It was just, I could tap into that character. And so them getting to know me, so I flew out, they flew me out, and they would go, oh, you are exactly what Jackie was talking about. I said, okay. So I read with a couple of guys. The only one who signed on to the project initially that Otis knew he wanted from jump was Leon. So I put it down, and then, you know, they had me hang out in the hotel. And after a couple of days and 5 days and 6 days, I said, what's up? I said, you got me in a hotel? Yeah, like, what's good? What's going on? Are we doing this or we not doing this, right? They said, well, a particular person who ran NBC at the time said, I just don't see what's special about him. Oh. So I don't think he's Otis, and maybe we can get a bigger name. So I said, well, that's cool. Just put me back on the flight back to the Bronx. I mean, I'm not going to sit here while you're doing it. I mean, it's kind of disrespectful. So I went back to the Bronx, and they called me a month and a half later, and they were about a week and a half out from filming. And they called me, and they said, you know what? We went through every name, everybody. We were wrong. And we want you to come back out. And I was like, that's not going to happen. I want an apology from X, Y, and Z. Like, because other than I can care less. I'm chilling. I'm in the Bronx. I'm going to go take my ass on the D train. I'm going to go keep it moving, do what I got to do.
Well, look, you was doing all this back then too? Good grief.
Doing all what?
I wanted an apology from the network through your hands.
No, I don't look at it. I didn't look at it as that. I mean, I looked at it as fair is about not knowing who oneself is. And if you set the mark of how that I'm going to work, live, then you'll always steal my peace of mind. So there's things I can do and there's things I cannot do. And so if we meet each other a particular way, then we have to be transparent and clear about how we rolling. Because then when I say
Y'all,
If I
Malik.
say I'm moving a particular way, or I'm doing something a
Oh,
particular
okay.
way, and then I don't show up, well, it's not my word as bond to you that matters. It's my word that is bond to me that gives me the ultimate peace. And so I hold true to that, to be self-evident, not in what.
Uh-oh. Is it just me? Is it me that's freezing?
I think everybody's trying to get on your show, so everybody wants to try and call me. But
Okay.
but it's not the idea, because even when I grew up, it's like your word is bond. But what does that mean? What does that mean? People have killed themselves, or people have said, I'll die for you, I'll go to jail for you, and then they're like, I can't go to jail for you. You got to do the 20 by yourself. Me and my people's over here, that's a little too much. All of that is nonsense. So when we get to the real self-education of self, when you can hold yourself accountable and say something and know that you show up because you mean and your intentions are correct, then we are going to build on something transparent, something that has honesty, something that has trust. And I didn't say that out of being disrespectful. I said it because not only was I hurt that my time was played with and they were not transparent, but how can I move forward and feel good about whatever I choose to want to
Mm-hmm.
impart, knowing that you've already wronged me from the jump?
Look, I'm not suggesting that you were wrong in any way. I am amazed that a person at that stage in their career, and as young as you were, because you were relatively young, you were in your 20s, were you not?
But what is that? What is? But see, but that's perspective again. What does that mean when I've buried 30 people that are close to me? What does
Yeah,
that mean? What does it mean to me? Because I can't wait to be seen in a movie. It means nothing.
right.
I could be the same person to walk up on you and put the 4-5 in your waist. Then it'll feel different. Hey, wait a minute. Let's have a conversation. Didn't have to be this aggressive, right? But so perspective allows us reference to say, you know what are you buying into? Because sometimes in this life, either people are buying into a false idea of like what a tough guy is, which is nothing, right? Probably probably one of the most weakest of scared people to be that tough. And at the end of the day, what is it we're chasing? The idea of what is it you're chasing? What is it that you want to accomplish? You want people to know your name. You want to be seen. You want to be relevant. You want to be adored. You want to be pampered. No, because when we choose to buy into a falsity, don't matter. When I go home to my mama house, I'm taking the garbage out. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody taking the garbage out for her. No matter how
Right.
much money. Guess how much
That's
money I
right.
made today.
She does not care
Pick up that
whether or not
garbage.
you were at the studio when Tyler Perry was doing the ribbon cutting, and that it was Oprah was there, and that
Right.
everybody who was anybody from Ruby D, I mean, everybody was there.
But more
Especially
importantly
Tyson,
too,
they
and
didn't care.
but Valerie, more importantly too, I also hold it to be self-evident for myself. I'm comfortable sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, and picking up and cleaning up and whatever garbage they need me to throw out. Guess what? Let me contribute and make your night that much easier. Because it's no false perception. Oh, I can't do this. I can't be seen in that light. No.
Yeah.
In tough times, I think the toughest people have the greatest humility. Okay, tough times. You got a house for me to paint? Because it doesn't matter what I succeed in this industry. It doesn't matter what I feel within this industry. You know what? If I can do something that's worth a good deed, stay out of trouble. I don't want to be of harm to anyone, but I can be of help to someone. Then that right there is doing that. That is paying it forward. That is paying it homage to not only my ancestors and the people and the loved ones who've gathered and said, "Hey, kid, don't stop, go further." That is honoring my life, and the perception that we have to do it under a false guise. Well, that means nothing to me.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I
Sure
tell you
don't.
what. Look, we got 15 more minutes. I'm going to
Come on.
stop this now. I'm going to switch us over to so that we can specifically go to our members only.
Members
So
only.
look,
What does that mean? Members only. Members only.
so people can
Laugh
join.
about. I didn't know. I just want to laugh about that.
Don't be laughing at
I
that
just want to
now.
laugh about. I'm just,
Don't be
no.
laughing at it.
Okay. All right.
So
What I'd like to probably say is, you're creating, and let me pass this on. A lot of people say, how can I become successful in this business? How can I find myself doing the things that I've envisioned doing in any facet of this business, in front of the camera, behind the camera? How do I get hooked up? Right? Because everybody want to hook up. And how you get a hookup is, and I'm going to share it.
Okay.
This is how you get the greatest hookup. Be who you say you are. If it means a lot to you, show up. If you want to see change, be kind. If you want to really see great growth, love outside of yourself. Just love. Because you'll find that people are not calling you because you know X, Y, and Z. They're calling you because they enjoy spending time with you. They're calling you because they know that when they call you, you show up because you're accountable and you came to do the work. You didn't come with a story. You didn't come with an excuse. And when we have that, all of a sudden, you're starting to create your own community. So what this is about how Valerie is creating her own community, a community of people that understand that vibrant fabric that we need to hold on to, that we need to strengthen, that woven and keep interweaving to make it much more substantial, that we can pull people up, we can lift them along the way, and if you're not there, they can hold on and find their way out just by feeling, by touch. You'll know when you're in the room with good people. Don't waste it. Don't waste it with ego. Don't waste it with all of that false bravado that we get. Oh, not me. I tell you, there ain't no job that I really won't do. And if it's necessary, then I'm gonna do it. So don't let people put you in the box. Keep jumping outside the box. Just know that's my greatest prayer. My greatest prayer is that it doesn't matter where I work. May I be just fortunate to work with some good people, kind people. Because it don't matter if I do a 16-hour day, 18-hour day. I'm literally sitting in a blissful state of hanging out. How lucky and fortunate am I?
And when you're doing what you love, it just passes by. You're not thinking about it. It doesn't, you may be working and you may be working hard, but it's enjoyable. It's something, even if it's painful in the moment, you've got your eye on the goal.
But I say it with a bittersweet touch. You can do what you love with your kids, and that doesn't mean they listen.
Right.
So you could love them. You could love them all you want. Doesn't mean that it won't be painful at times and challenging.
Facts.
But our purpose and our why and where we're going, when we get outside of ourselves, but we also, it's okay to be kind to ourselves. It's also okay to remind ourselves, hey, time to take care of you. Like, it's like, hey, girl, guess what you've been doing? Oh, I was at the gym and I worked out like 3 days a week, and then I'm on this new diet. And you did all of that, right? You're looking for the results. You want to see the results from the workout.
Right. But
you also have to have the rest. And then you also have to know how to restore yourself. Right. Be kind to yourself. America works so hard. And I say America because different countries, they move a little different. Right now, I'm not really going to talk about America because that's a whole nother pot of something else. But how we take care of each other and how we're taking care of ourselves is going to be really important to how we take care of others. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to take a knee. That's what boxes are for. Like, going through it. Yep. Sometimes I'm passionate about doing a project, and sometimes I'm like, I'm not even interested. And then sometimes I get interested because somebody else is so interested. I'm going, what you so excited about? How can I support that? How can I support that?
Exactly. No, of course you can. Well, let me say this too.
Yeah.
I told the people,
Your community.
told my community,
Come on.
okay, my network, okay.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, Malik, you, and I mentioned this right before you came on, that I do see you as being one of the most gracious people. You always have a positive word to share. You encourage when there have been times I've talked to you about things and you're like, well, okay, so what? Like you don't really, now I don't know if things really do get to you in real life, but you don't let on to it, and you won't let anyone else let things get to them, because you'll encourage them right on out of that funk. So I just want to say I appreciate you for those times, for encouraging me and rooting me on. And you guys, since you've been listening to him, you understand now why I said that he is not only an actor and producer and writer and all of those good things, he is a speaker. He's a motivational speaker. And for quite some time, I've been telling Malik, I was like, we've got to figure out a way so we can tell our stories. And that was before I had done my TED talk that, Malik had a chance to see. But, I said, because he has a story of, look, every time you hear a story of someone who has made a bad choice in their life, it doesn't mean they have to A, live there, B, that every scenario is the same. You came out of a 2-parent home, educated parents at that, who were professionals. I came out of a blue collar home, but both of my parents, were really, really conscientious about making sure I had the best of, options. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, when for whatever reason, I did it for out of desperation and fear. You did it because you're like, look, everybody's contributing around here. I got to do something, and I'm only 13. So
Well, it's
I got to
interesting,
do what
right?
I got to do.
Because it's an interesting journey, but not only contributing, even in an educational factor, but also the lights are out. It's the middle of the winter. There is no heat. What are we eating? And it's like, is this really going on?
Right,
Is this what two parents that really work look like? When Easter comes along and in New York City, everyone's getting decked out and everyone else is on welfare. And I'm like, we need to get some welfare because I'm gonna need some nice clothes. Like, why don't we have some nice clothes? Right?
why don't we
I
have
mean,
some good welfare?
listen, but that was our journey. These kids' journey right now is very different as well, right?
Right.
So, but in my mindset at that particular time, the things that we get distracted with that's in front of us when it's about so much more, you know, and it's always about so much more, but but
Always.
but but these kids and our loved ones and I say our adults, we need just because the kids want to have a future. Well, what about everybody else that's 40, 50, and 60 and 70? And they should have every opportunity to go reinfuse and redo things that with all their vast knowledge as well.
That's right.
We
That's
got to
right.
come together in that capacity and say, oh, the dream don't stop there, baby. It continues. And now we get to do it we even get to do it with that much more vigor, with that much more
Mm-hmm.
conviction.
Mm-hmm. Let me say something else. Then we do
Yeah.
have to go to member zone. Well, two things. One,
Yeah.
thank you, Jill's Comfort Zone. I truly enjoyed you and your guest, Malik, tonight. Thank you for sharing this encouraging interview. He's great, right? Um, the one thing I thought was interesting when you were telling that story just a minute ago about all these people who didn't want to back you, whether they were studio people or whether it was a director or whether it was whoever it was. I think the irony is the full circle moment should have been the fact that you turned around and you went to later be the choice of a black studio head, a black man who owns the biggest studio in the country, right?
Mm.
And then a Black woman's network. I just think that is ironic and awesome.
I humbly, graciously thank Tyler Perry for so much. And it's beyond a job. It's about his kindness. It's about his time. It's about the way in which he shares his visions. It's the way in which he walks with you. He's not just talking, he walks with you. I didn't know him in that capacity, but I also humbly honor the incomparable Oprah Winfrey, who walks in your dressing room to come in there and make sure she gives you a hug and see how you're doing and what's going on and what's up. The people who have the schedules that are beyond the schedules, but know how to take the moment and be present in the moment. And so it's bigger than, it is to some extent, right? Here are these individuals who can also reach out and say, hey, what you thinking about this? What's going on? And I hope that maybe I can return that in the favor of, whenever they do call, I'm there. That's not complicated at all. That's simple. It's simplified. But also return the favor that the young people that I get to work with, I want to see them go on and have an opportunity. And may I dare to dream. May I dare to dream just a little bigger. May I dare to go just a little harder. May I dare to keep walking when the air gets thin and let my lungs assimilate and keep trying to go to new heights. So when we speak about our Oprahs, when we speak about our Tyler Perrys, I mean, how honored. This is to be present in it's not even a generational thing. I think it's just they're historic. They're historic because everyone could tell their story, the things that they do to reach out and take care of and inspire in humanity and health and people's mental well-being and opportunities. They don't look and just put their eyes down and look the other way and say, listen, things are good for me. Everybody would love to count their worth, but their worth is beyond anything that they could imagine to monetarily be worth, because they are priceless. They are truly, truly gems. So to say that, like you said, how honored. I remember the time that I was coming out there and Tyler wasn't sure I was coming to go do the show. And I wasn't sure I was coming to do the show. But I knew that I was willing to try and be open to a new avenue, a new capacity. How will I ever know if I don't show up? I don't even know. I'm not going to like if I don't try it, right? Be open to that. And not only that, I didn't know that going through that process, you start to walk with someone who walks with everyone around him. And whether you know it or not, he's mentoring you because he's shoring you up in a different way. He's not asking of himself for you to do something that he won't do. He'll spend his 20 hours. You might just want to make it through the 12. And when that mode kicks in and that becomes contagious, well, I think that all the people that have worked with him, used to work with him, well, they go out and they do special things, and it's reflective. It's a reflective of him. It's reflective of the way in which Oprah does things with her network, the content, the way in which she's very, very clear about what she would love to convey. Let that be contagious, because it's healing. When I think of my Soul Sundays and I think of my TD Jakes, and it's what the soul needs, right? Because if the soul is dead, then our hope, our inspiration falls flat. We can only go through the numbers by so much. But when we have inspiration, we have a reason to live, a reason to go outside of ourselves, a reason to know that we are connected to a strong bond that we get to pay homage to and honor. We're a movement.
A movement. Well, know your own worth. This is my moderator. Thank you so much. Know your own worth. Great interview, V. Lenore. Charles Whitfield, please come back. God bless. He will be back.
I will be back. There's so many things that are going on, and I look forward to sharing a lot of them soon. Still,
Yay.
still in the work process, but it's like the train that has to still go a long way. We're station by station, bit by bit, we're getting there.
Yay. All right. All right. Well, everybody, we're going to go to members only just for a little bit because Malik has been so kind with his time. So we're not going to keep him too long, but we're going to switch over. Malik, tell people how they can find you on Instagram. Is it C Malik Whitfield?
No, just Malik Whitfield.
Oh, just Malik Whitfield.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't listen to me, y'all. It's just Malik Whitfield. I'll put it in the description box after this. All right. Everyone else, we'll see you guys later. Members, I'll meet you over there in 2 seconds. Here we go. 1, 2. Hold on. All of them. And higher. Done. Save. Bye, guys. Hold on. All right. So I'm sure these people have questions.
Come on.
So let's see how many are in here now. So we had gotten up to about 120 were in the chat, and now we're probably down to, well, just a few, but I can't really see. Hold on. Let me see. How can I? How can I see something?
Yeah, and next time I have to post it too, so I can make sure that people come in.
Yes.
I'm gonna send a link. So so that way, want to definitely drive people to your site.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just started the channel in December, and in December I was just doing like Vlogmas little videos, where like 5-10 minute things just to get used to it. Right. And then January is when I sort of really kicked it out, and really started to do some things. And working a full-time job, I come out here when I can, but
That's right. And you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. All right. We in here. I'm still live. No, I'm still live with members only. Peace, love.
Might be.
Just us, but it's just, yeah. Okay, perfect. So questions. You guys got questions? Yeah, here we go. Thank you, Peace, love. She said this was a great live. Good. Y'all mean we get him back here and y'all ain't got no questions? Yeah, it's members only. Look, I'm going to drop the link real quick since it's just us. Okay. And see what y'all. Hey, Barn Dog. Thank you for the super sticker. Uh-oh. Thank you.
Hey,
all right. Okay. All right. Peace, love. You're silly. Yes, you're a member, Peace, love. That's why you're still here with us. All right. No questions for him? Okay, so I got a couple questions.
Where you from, Peace, love? I got a question. Where's Peace, love from out there?
She is from New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay.
But I think she was born in Louisiana. So, yeah. Yep, Peace, love. I know a little bit about Peace, love. Shell Loves. I don't know where Shell Loves is from, but she's one of my biggest supporters. Shell Loves. Nobody else in here? Okay, so you're from, did I get it right though, Peace, love? That you were like raised up in Jersey.
Jersey.
And then there's Sarkonos, who is from Brooklyn. She was the one in the, actually, when I said you were coming, she said, I know who that is. He's from the Bronx. Like she knew you off the street or something.
She might. I'm telling you, she might.
Y'all pay attention to stuff like that from New York. That whole coastline, I think. Absolutely. Okay, Tweety, what's your question, girl? You asked a question. Oh, okay, it says right here. I want to know why he wasn't watching cartoons on Saturdays. That made me sad.
Well, I wasn't watching cartoons on Saturday because my parents were still, when my mom was still getting their masters at Fordham University, we couldn't stay at home by ourselves on the weekend. So while they were in their school classes, they took us with them at Fordham University.
Okay. Okay. Someone said, oh, okay, the parents. Okay, I'm sorry, peace love. Well, I was close. I was close. Oh, Shell Loves is from Georgia. Got it. All right. Know Your Own Worth wants to know what's your next project that you can tell us about, or what's getting ready to come out, maybe that you can
Well,
tell us.
last week or so, we just dropped Stepmother. It's been #1 on Tubi. Um,
Okay.
Marcus Houston, Erica Mena, Keith Sweat's son, who's
Hmm.
just wonderful talent, Justin. Um,
Wait,
Christos.
hold on. Keith Sweat's son, just or
Yes,
Diddy's son.
no, Keith Sweat's son.
His name is Justin. He's an actor too.
Yes, he's doing
Wow.
really great. One did a
Oh
one,
wow. Okay.
and then, so that just dropped. So it's doing really well on Tubi, #1 for over a week or so. Then we have a new
Okay. Yay.
show that premiered on All Black called Terror Lake. Terror Lake Drive. It's season 2. It's an anthology, kind of takes place every year, kind of has its own different dynamic, but it's a phenomenal show. I play the mayor of Atlanta.
Oh
And that.
wow.
And
Okay.
then we got a new movie that should be dropping August 5th called Unfavorable Odds, and I'm starring in that, which is a comedy that'll be in movie theaters on August 5th. And then the other ones are to come, or maybe next year. So I'm not sure about that exactly, or there's some other
Okay.
really great projects that we got in the can.
And the one that's coming out in August is what date?
August 5th.
August 5th. Okay,
Uh,
cool.
We'll start dropping some stuff in the next, about a month out. About a month out. Coming
Shell
up
says that she loves you.
first week or so in July.
Yes, I can't believe it. It's too much. Shell says she loves you as Ben on Chicago Med. Are you still on there?
I thank you. I thank you. I didn't come back this whole season, and then they were so. I just love the cast over there. The people are all phenomenal over there, and of course, I love working with Marlene Barrett, who plays Maggie, playing her husband. So I was fortunate enough to come back the season, the episode or so right before the season finale this past year. So who knows? I may be back. I'd love to be back. I love the show. I love the people, and I love working with her. It's just really exceptional. So I'm a fan of Chicago Men.
So, Peace Love wants to know what is your skincare routine? Because she said, "Why do you look no older than 35? Is it the melanin or your skincare routine, or both? Probably both.
I think I don't know
Hot
about
yoga.
not a great skincare routine. I think more so than anything, sweat as much as you can whenever you can. That's my
This
deal. Like if I can get in yoga, I'm up in yoga. I'm usually in hot yoga. Or if I give me a steam room, you're looking at a happy person. And if you can't do a steam room, then just I'm the dude that's like, give me a bathtub and a bubble bath, and I'm the one that's soaking there for like a couple hours. They're like, you can't be in the bathroom. Yes, I am. Give me 1 more hour.
Fedora's asking, what is the symbolism behind the statue behind you? But you are Buddhist, correct?
Buddhist doesn't mean that that's a
It's not.
Buddhist
Oh,
statue. I pray. But it is Buddhism. It's just one of the peace. There's those kind of the symbol of peace, and you know anything that gives me good energy and good vibrations, I'm all for it. You can give me the greatest Christians in the world. Guess what? That's who I'm partying with tonight. As long as it's
Malik
good.
went to church with me. I knew he was Buddhist, but he went to church with me. And
Absolutely.
he was all in. So
I mean, I listen to TD Jakes every day. I mean, listen. He be dropping it. Woo! He just be pouring into so many people, and as even myself, sometimes I'm like, man, I gotta get me a Titan in.
yes, child.
Yes.
Oh, I know I was gonna ask you. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. Oh, it just slipped my Oh, wait, it has something to do, something when you said something about TD Jakes. Oh, that's going to kill me. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So can I ask you current event kind of talk?
Go for it. I don't know how current I'm on in my events, but that's it.
Oh, you know these things.
I don't know.
You can decide not to speak on them though. I can completely handle that, okay? The slap heard around the world. How did you feel after that night about that whole situation? Because I'm sure you knew the whole room.
One, I didn't think that it was real. Two, that Will Smith is a phenomenal person, and um, Tony Rock, who's a dear friend of mine, his brother Chris Rock. I don't have the same relationship with Chris as I do with Tony. However, all that Chris has done, I don't think anyone gets through in this industry without, uh, a lot of losses, and it takes its effect in many different capacity in different ways. So I'm always down with a smack before you let off a shot.
Mm. Well,
No, it doesn't mean that his behavior is acceptable, but you know what? I'm not easy to condemn or write off any one of my guys, any one of my people, because we don't know how to act sometimes. And if he had a moment that he didn't know how to act, it's also, I'd rather him be alive to try to keep pouring in all the good that he does do and has done and will continue to do because that's who he is, which is more healing than a slap.
yeah. Yeah.
But when I think of Robin Williams and here today, dead and gone tomorrow, when we're gone, we're gone. So, you know, I'm not from a particular place that I could ever speak on and say, if it was me, I mean, I would never, or such and such, such. I've seen the breakdown of mental illness that happens in so many phases. And it's so unfortunate when you got to let some of your closest friends go because they will kill you and your family. And unfortunately, you no longer, you have to remove yourself. So there's different levels of grades
Mm-hmm.
of all of that goes on. Sometimes where people believe all that we can live in front of the camera, it does a significant damage to us behind the camera. So I commend Tony, you know what I'm saying? Shit, if your jaw can take the smack or whatever the madness is, but also your composure and your character, well, that speaks more dynamically than ever about a smack. It's about the way in which we move and how we move from it. I think that the strength is in that. The I don't believe in division. I believe in unity and unification. Um, I've done certain things and been in certain areas as a young man that they could have took my life in an instance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? One of the headshot callers was like, "You tell us who the I am. Next
You
time
can
I'm be."
cuss.
I'm just saying. I hit you with the business. You better tell this nigga who the fuck I am. I'm like, damn. Well, I'm like, who is it? You know what I mean? But you never know when you get in the past, and then you never know when your life has been so fortunate enough to get a pass, so you can at least be part of holding something more substantial than the idea of this. What we talk about, what we buying into. I'm not
Mhm.
here to make noise that is wrong. I'm not here to. We're here to celebrate people when we can, and hopefully celebrate them while they're alive and not when they're gone. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mac, I'm gonna call it a small thing to these giants, because Chris was a giant, and and that whole other thing. I mean, honestly, I almost felt like it was a really good act. It
I
wasn't the best.
did too at
I
first.
mean, I grew up in the Bronx. They get harder than that. I mean,
Right,
so
right.
so, but but more importantly, I also I'm also the son of an African American studies professor that also says it's not the smack that hurts, it's the image that lasts forever when they play it over and over again. And so, in the psyches and the mindset of a young child, when we're talking about all these years of having our little African American daughters finally get comfortable with their braids and their ethnic black, the African American and their ethnicity, being proud to be who they are, whether they have dreads or not dreads, their skin and their skin color not being too dark or being too light. So all of these subconscious scenarios, situations that we've gone through, that we've been force fed as kids, generation at a time, over and over again. I'm more afraid of what that image can do than the actual smack. Because I don't believe on any platform and any stage. I believe, listen, some people need their ass beat.
Look, I said
But
that. Look,
but it's just where you gonna beat them. I mean, listen, it's
my
the place.
biggest issue with that whole thing was that it happened in front of us. Like, I would have preferred that it happened backstage if it was going to happen. But I am not one that believes that people need to be writing off, canceling Will Smith because of this one moment in time when this man is giving us nothing but greatness.
We only, people can yell Sidney Poitier and know how much he's given, but how much have they given back to him? People can yell Harry Belafonte, know how much he has given and sacrificed, and know how harsh his life has been. So I don't play devil's advocate in that capacity. I just know that there's so much positive for me to do, that there's so much positive that I need to contribute. There's so many wrongs that I need to right. My wrongs. I know there's so many more better deeds that I need to be a part of. It made those be the grace. And even in my unsure moment, may I get lifted up with some light and some love, because it only takes a second to fall.
Someone asked a question about Buddhism. How did you get into Buddhism? But before you answer that, Sarkonos, I'm looking for your question, babe. I don't see it. So I don't know where you don't get on me, Sarkonos, okay? But could you type it one more time? Okay, go ahead. How did you get into
running around in the streets in the Bronx, getting shot, doing all these different things. The one mainstay that was in my house, and my mom grew up as a Baptist, Christians in the church and all that. One of the mainstays were when I came home, she was always sitting chanting, just like Tina Turner, sitting there. I'm your Renge Kyo. Between watching so many of my friends pass away and be in these extreme situations and circumstances, I had to ask myself one day, what could it give me when I feel like I'm yelling and I'm asking for something to be present, where I feel so much turbulence in my heart and mind. And that's how I was not only introduced to it, but that's also what allowed me to challenge my practice on a daily basis. And for the consistent, I also became inconsistent. It was never any time I become the greatest Buddhist. There used to be a joke with one of my friends. He was a big music producer. At a time, he passed away some years ago, and he would tell my buddy, one of my good buddies, Ron, in Long Island, he'd go, Malik's one of the most violent Buddhists that I know. Right? So how does it go together? Right? And so I'm always chasing for a greater state. And even to your question earlier, there's things that there's things that have gotten to me. There's those moments where, we put our head down and we say, okay. And I'm always asking, what is the lesson? Or submit to the moment, and break that, or submit to prayer, to God, to a higher understanding, but also Buddhism really is just is a journey and a practice where it's always the evolution of looking in with self. And that's the core. That's where I start with. I mean, it's not like, well, because you did this, you should have came at me like that. It's if all of those things that happen, I'm always working outside. And I believe, like TD Jake said, you can choose how you want God to work on you, because He gonna work on you one way or the other. He gonna work from
Right.
the inside out
Right.
or the outside in. And
Right.
you can choose it.
Right.
Because working from the outside in, boy, you're going to have a whole lot of work. So you better choose real easy if you want to do it from the inside out.
And that's facts.
So that's my journey,
One last current event question, and then we're out of here. This one might be a little tougher for you to answer.
Ain't nothing tough for me. I didn't create the current events.
No, that's true.
No. I mean, because if
I'm
I'm going down, everybody's going down with me. I mean, the real president of the CMB, Kareem Akbar, right there. I mean, if I'm going down, everybody's going down with me. Fuck that.
I don't know. You know what? That is so funny. I never thought about
Wesley was
when you said that they were coming back for a part 2. Was that before? Because wasn't Brooklyn's Finest sort of like the future?
Brooklyn's Finest came back many years after that.
Okay, but
yeah, we're talking, right? We're talking before the Temptations, so we're talking 97.
Oh yeah.
This Brooklyn's Finest is way later. Yeah, and rest to my beautiful Michael K. Williams.
Yeah. Yes. Oh Jesus.
Love him.
Yeah.
He's around. He's around doing good things. So okay, hit me with this current event. I want to hit me with this, because it's Taco Tuesday, so I got to go. I got to get the cooking. Most people don't know. I'm a chef with it.
Okay. Well, we out of here anyway. I don't even know how long.
We'll talk food next time. We'll talk food next time.
Okay. Oh yes, nice. Jussie Smollett, honey. That's all I have to say.
I love him.
I'm sure.
I love him.
So, what do you think about this situation? How should we move forward?
I believe that it doesn't matter whether I believe him or not. The journey is, will I hold him, hug him, and be there to know that I can do all that I can do to be positive in his life? Absolutely. There is nobody throwing away in this life. Situations, circumstances,
Do you hold him accountable?
Hold him accountable for what?
For what?
What would I hold him accountable for?
Lack of truth.
Say it again.
Lack of truth.
Well, I think that the hardest thing that we look at, that we as African American people in America don't realize, is that we put too much weight on every and anybody else, as if they are here to change the context and platform of what you can do in life and what you can't do. And then we put this huge responsibility as an African American man representing everybody. As an African American woman, you represent everybody.
No, he decided to do that. We didn't ask him to do that.
Wait, hold on. I'm saying just represent for yourself. I don't get caught in when I say I don't get caught in the noise. I have to sit down with an individual. I'm not saying that wrong or right or whatever. I have to sit down with an individual. Everybody, they at a different space, place, and time in their life. And whatever his lesson is, boy, no one can learn it like he's learning it. Because he's learning a different lesson. And I think
he learned. Well, see, this is the only thing I will say about this, Malik. I don't think you walk away from your friends when they find themselves in a hard time. I would be the very last person to say
you also
that.
got
right?
friends like you're wilding out and you acting a fool. And
so my thought is this though: if I just look at my own situation,
yes,
I made a bad decision, and then I decided, okay, Now, how do I make good on this? Right? What I remember clearly, okay, this from my faith, my spiritual connection with God made it very clear that what He told me was, what you did was wrong, but I got you. But I will not bless a lie. That's what I feel that was in my spirit, and so I could not expect God or anything to shift in a positive direction for me when I was still going to hold down a lie and say, I didn't do it. I didn't do
Well,
it. I didn't do it.
man is interested, a man and a man and woman, doesn't matter, goes in a relationship, cheats, then says they never did. It's a tough space. The only one space that they cannot lie to is the knowing of themselves. And so some people lose sleep and say that, they have a sleeping disorder. No, it's because they're uncomfortable and don't have peace and can't find peace at night because they don't get away with the foolishness that they pretend even to get away with. It's still short-sighted, but it's not for us to correct the narrative. When the gentleman, as I last know it, and this is how I look at it, right? And I don't look at it in depthly because there's no reason to I don't send him anything but with love. I send him peace. That doesn't mean we're hanging out. That doesn't mean that, I'm he's directing the narrative that where I'm going. But he said it's such an uncomfortable place. I remember this interview. I just caught a clip of the interview. It was recent. Someone sent it.
Sway in the morning. Yeah.
Huh?
From Sway in the morning.
From Sway. Right.
Yeah.
So, and he's talking about how it feels so bad knowing that his truth was never received. And if that is to be true, and all of that has been misconstrued and changed in these other different capacities, well, there's a hell of another story there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And so I've been places where it gets a little extra for whatever extra reason with people. I don't know why. We see what's going on with this, we talk current events with the Epstein, and now the woman's been sentenced to these XYZ, right?
20 years, yeah.
We're talking sex trafficking. We're talking about these. We're not talking about young women and young kids who are disappearing out here presently every day. So there's a lot of work to be done.
I agree.
There's a lot of work to be done.
We didn't kill nobody. Look, I'm not suggesting that, and you're right. I'm talking from a standpoint where I have my own opinion, right, of what happened. I don't know him, so you have,
him,
and that's a different perspective.
I don't know him. I've worked with him, but I don't know him either.
Okay.
I can't say that I can speak to his character. There's a few people I know I can speak to their character, at least to the best of my ability. I just hope that. One, I send them positive energy. I send them love.
Sure.
It's not an easy. I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better because it almost, in some similarities, there's a small context that I can relate to.
All right.
So in 1994, give me 1 second, right? Give me 1 second.
Okay. If you about to say one thing I forgot to tell the people who you knew, I won't say it.
Hold on. 1994, but in 1993,
What does that say? White. Yes, I see you.
Gregory Hines, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I just found this in one of my closets the other day. But the point is, and it had to be 92, 93. I forget the exact year. I have the actual. Somebody sent me the actual news clipping, in the Daily News in New York. I was outside with a couple buddies. Some people, they would die for me the whole nine. Yeah. Anyway, I ended up getting attacked. Some rappers were out there, this, that, and the other. I got cut, beaten, the whole nine. Eyes closed, the whole nine. I was on One Life to Live at the time, 1992.
Not One Life to Live. Okay, go ahead.
One Life to Live, playing Ben Price and Dr. Ben Price, and so viciously attacked. I wanted to go press charges. Some people didn't want to, corroborate and tell the truth because they're afraid what, might retaliations might happen to their family, so forth, so forth. The Bronx can be big, but it also can be small. Um, and during that time, even when I had to get stitches. I had that plastic surgery here. And One Life Live paid for it. I had a huge knot. And, they were like not only trying to destroy my career, but they were trying to kill me. Stabbed in the leg, this, that. It was bad, right? Lost a lot of blood.
Mm, mm, mm.
But the hardest part was when I went back to work a couple of days ago and they had to write in that I had a car accident and blah, 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 because soaps film every day. You can only
Right.
be so much. So when I finally came back, the hard part was that I wouldn't speak to the news reporters and everybody when I would leave to go home. And so they wrote their own story. And that was really difficult. And one, I was trying not to say much because dealing with the police, but they wrote their own story, and they embellished their own story. It was hurtful for me, but it wasn't that hurtful because at the end of the day, I knew that also I did enough dumb, ignorant stuff as a young man that this too was part of my karma I had to deal with. Was lucky to have my life. I wasn't out there looking for any trouble. But for whatever particular reason, it was like, oh, F the dude from One Life to Live. Oh, F him. And then it was like, oh, that's such and such from 179th Street, and it was like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so I understand in the aspect of how when you feel like you would like to tell your story, and I'm not saying it's mine and his, absolutely not. Um, but it can be a cold game. What sells and what's more sensational than sometimes the truth is what it is, and sometimes not saying the truth is also better and services a lot of other people. I don't know. Don't even pretend to. Not especially not in that. I just knew it was also the deal and scenario for myself. It also showed itself again when I did Cheerios, but you did not see me do. Hold on, but you did not see me do a Cheerios interview, did you? Ever?
No, no. I did them all for you. No kidding. But I
Because
talked about you in one of my
because
classes.
it wasn't going to be servicing myself and or many other people, and I was clear because I got the message very clearly. And that's how you leave it sometimes. So everything can't be shared. And I don't know what I just know the kid was phenomenally talented. I know he was also directing Empire. They were putting in their hours. So to get this publicity didn't make sense to me. It didn't add up. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is. There's a lesson for him to learn. There may be a lesson later that his lesson can be a learnable lesson for other people as well. Um, you know, I don't know. That was some extreme, you know, scenario and situation. So everyone really.
All right, Taco Tuesday.
I'm back. Taco
Taco
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I know.
Taco
Look,
Tuesday.
I ain't
Back.
been
Yeah,
in
it's
trouble
going
more.
down. So anyway, but everybody has their thing, right? And I just know that this is my prayer. My prayer is with peace of mind, we can find the good in all. But with the right intentions, our heart has the capacity to love not only ourselves even greater, but live in our greatest moments and enjoy being present. I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful today that I'm alive. I'm thankful that I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And if I don't make it here, just know I enjoyed myself tremendously.
Well, thank you. We're thankful that
Yeah,
you made it here
yeah,
today, that you are alive, giving us all the beautiful art
yeah.
that you have given us.
And I can't wait
All
to
the
do so much more. I can't wait, and hopefully soon, we'll be sitting with your community in person. Because that's how
yes,
small the world is.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
So it's important.
Malik,
So I
thank you
thank you.
so much for being so gracious and so patient with us tonight. I
Oh, I
love
thank
you
you.
dearly. Thank you so much again. I'll be in touch very soon, and so will somebody else. And I'm gonna see
Okay,
you.
I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Have
right.
a beautiful night, everyone.
You
Love.
too. Bye bye. All right, everybody else. What y'all think? Was it good, y'all? Was it good? Was this a good interview or no? Huh, y'all? Was it good? Oh, Shell loves. You know what? Y'all got the phone up just so I can see whether or not things are clear or not. And things pop up on the phone faster than they do in StreamYard. Thank you, Shell loves. It has been a pleasure for me as well. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging in here tough with us tonight. It was longer than I thought. I know y'all were trying to straddle back and forth. I saw Phi Babe came through here at one point. Look, I didn't get around to my normal line of questioning, but I still think it did what it needed to do. Yeah, I think it did what it needed to do. And I told y'all he could talk, so I knew. Oh, I know. I was just saying, because y'all wasn't really moving in the chat. So I didn't know if y'all was asleep. So I didn't know. And I didn't want him to hear me in case he was still listening. So it was good. Y'all enjoyed it. Okay, good. Yay. Where's Coupon? Did her butt leave? She needs to go lie down. Or actually, I could go back and listen to Say the B Sector because I missed most of it, to be honest. Oh, yikes. So I got to go back. Thank you so much, guys, for all of your support. To my beautiful moderators, all of you, Fedora, Know Your Own Worth. I know I saw Natural LP. I saw someone say hi to her, so I guess she was here. Hey, Natural LP, and Coupon Therapy. Of course, I mentioned Coupon. So thank you to all of the moderators. Thank you to everybody who super chat me tonight. Thank you so much for all of you that were in the chat. And please keep your feedback up too, because honey, the feedback helps me know what you like, what you don't like, and which direction we need to be moving in. So looking forward to next week. We got some good ones coming up. Sunday, we have Will Smith's personal chef. Hey, Coupon. Oh, you have sleep, girl. Oh, darn. I wanted you to be awake. What did I say? Oh, yeah. So we have Will Smith's personal chef. Chef Cynthia will be here in the house on Sunday. I think that was at 7. On next Thursday, we've got comedian Ralph Harris. Yes, he will be here on Thursday. And then on Saturday, y'all, I feel like Saturday is going to be a bombshell. I don't know why. I just feel like it's going to be a bombshell. Saturday, we have Marla Thomas, who is the mother of Monique Slaughter. And she's actually a mental health activist. So she's going to be talking about what it's been like as, as an ally to people with brain differences, and most specifically parents of people who raise children with brain differences. So I think though, she's already told me, I said, look, we can talk about, I've known Marla for over 30 years. Okay. For a long, long time. And I said to her, I said, look, we don't have to even bring, anything up about the kids. We can just talk about, just advocacy. She says she's here to have an organic conversation. So I look forward to that. To everybody else, I just want to say I thank you guys for being here again. So my guess is Faith Evans. Nope, not Faith. Girl, no, it's not Faith Evans. That's funny. That's a good one, though. That's a good. Oh, let me tell you one other thing about Malik that we didn't get around to. Speaking of Faith Evans, he was in the Notorious B.I.G., that Notorious movie. He was friends with Biggie. He knew Biggie. Let's just say they knew each other back then. Okay, when they was all doing what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Why she do her daughter like that? Ah, see, that's why you gotta come on Saturday. How did she do her daughter? So you have to come on Saturday. No, not Marlo Thomas, as in Danny Thomas's daughter, but not for St. Jude's Clinic or anything, but St. Jude's Hospital. Marla and Monique's child. I probably spelled the daughter's name wrong. No, you actually spelled it right. Yeah, Marla and Monique. So now you know who MS is, Shell Loves. Coupon therapy. Now you know who Adore Me and I were talking about. MS. And Marla dropped down in our chat the night that Jay Wilson showed his whole entire arse. Remember that? That was the night. Oh yes. What'd she do? Oh, here we go. Well, you got to make sure you're getting the right information. You might be surprised. That's why I always say, you said yes, now I do. Oh, did you realize it when you read the my post earlier, Shell? Yeah, Adore Me. She be where's Adore Me's not a member, but Adore Me. She knew it from the riff. I was like, wow, and so did Sarkonos. And I thought Sarkonos knew it until the other day when she said something about. She got confused. Sarkonos, are you still here? She probably knocked out. Her medicine probably kicked in. Child, it's 10:14. She old, child. Sarkonos probably sleep. Okay. They were back and forth a few years back on social media. Yeah. Well, there's a lot going on now. So I suggest before next Saturday, you guys do a little research online because there's a whole lot going on. Sarkonos, did you realize? Oh, I knew it too. I thought you did. Yeah, you and Adore Me. Y'all knew it right off the rip. Because Marla dropped down in the chat. I was like, go away, Marla, for a few reasons. What, Tweety? There who go? When I saw the name, I started searching to see if she had the daughter. Oh, you did? Oh, when she dropped down? Well, wait, did I say that? Oh, you just remembered the name. Shell, you remembered the name after she came? Because I didn't say anything about her daughter that day. I don't think we spoke about the daughter till, a couple of days later, or maybe it was the next day or something. I got confused about the singer. Yeah, the singer. That's what you were confused about. Oh, okay. So I can't remember who that was in that Zoom call though that said, I know, I remember, it's a female. But it wasn't you, Tweety, though, was it? Because it couldn't have been Tweety. Because honestly, it's an easy guess. Y'all just thinking too hard, to be quite honest. It's such an easy guess. It's an easy guess. Also, Marla is the special guest. No, Marla's not the singer special guest. But Marla tweeted, were you here that night when Jay Wilson showed out? Because if you were, she came like the first 45 minutes we were in here, she dropped down and she was like, hey, what's up? What y'all talking about? Oh, you're guessing Rochelle Farrell. Nope. I believe it was either Miss Tawana. Who else could it have been? Miss Tawana, Steph, It might have been Steph. See, I'm so confused. Y'all, it's so obvious. I cannot believe that y'all are trying to figure this out. It is so obvious. I promise you it is. I promise you this. And as soon as the person shows up, y'all gonna be like, oh. Is the singer the MS guest? No, the MS is not the guest. MT is MS's mom. So that was one guest that I was talking about a while back. Yes, Monique Slaughter is MS. Yes. You said they did not win a Grammy. They did not win a Grammy. But they did have American Music Awards, I believe we saw. Repeat the hints again. Hold on. Oh, they had Soul Train Awards, American Music Awards. They're a powerhouse, and they have an anthem. After your community post, I was saying I only know of one Moniece, but didn't remember. Oh, I guess Marla and Malik. You did? Yeah, you did, Sarkonos. You sure did. You guessed them both. That was crazy to me, too. Ooh, baby, baby, you're driving me crazy. What's the anthem song, Tweety? Dun, 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 dun. How be my lady. I don't even know the words, y'all. Tweety's still trying to figure it out, child. She over here. Tweety. So I was gonna let this I was gonna go back and make this live public, but a part of me thinks she said, I'm not your super. Whoa. Dude, you stupid. Look, y'all, now I can't. Now, don't say nothing yet because it ain't been confirmed firm. She's supposed to be coming, though. She's supposed to be coming. Now, do y'all see why it was so obvious? Don't tell nobody. So now, y'all, I don't know. Did I just mess up this video? Damn. What y'all think? What y'all think? Y'all think it's going to be a problem? Delete that part. Okay, I got to figure out how to do it. I've never edited the video before. Damn it, man. Dun, dun, dun. Let me undo this. Oh, my goodness. And if I do that, I am going to lose the chat. I don't know. Should I leave it in? Don't leave it in, Sarkonos? Or leave... Tweety said delete it. Sarkonos, when you said nope, do you think... Ay. Kind of girl, yeah. That you can let you got the words for it. You typed them in here. You're not able to sing on your video. Yeah, you can sing on your video. No, I'm just saying because I put this. I just said who it is, but it's not. I don't have a date yet. Leave it. All right, because I'm about to make this public again. I just didn't want to give anybody else the special access, but the members to ask questions. So they can always go back and figure out what your questions were. So, anywho, take it off members after her, huh? Unky after her interview. What? Take it off take it off members only after my interview? After the interview? I'm confused. Mute it out? I don't think I can mute it. Now, you know what I should have done? What I should have done was not said a thing, and I could have just hit the chat. But whatever, we'll see. We'll see. Anywho. All right, y'all. Nah, for real. Delete it. I can delete my no, your comments won't matter. It's more about because if I delete the video, it's going to completely lose the chat anyway. So we'll see. Okay, so the hope is that Karen White, the superwoman, will be here within 2 weeks. We working on it. No, actually, the problem is she's got something just aired, the BET Black Music Honors or something that aired this past Saturday, right at noon. And then this week she has something in Vegas, and then on the 10th she has another something. So I say all that to say she's busy, okay? And it is a holiday, okay? So we just hope and pray that she can find it in her schedule to get over here in the next 2 weeks, okay? All right. I would have said something about being there. Oh, do you know Jody Watley? Do I know Jody Watley personally? No, I don't. Adormi is here. Hi, Adormi. She is a member. I couldn't remember, Adormi, if you were a member. Dang, I'd be trying to be quiet. Did you hear us when we were talking about them guessing who was coming? Excuse me. So we shall see. Ooh, and the mommy song. What mommy song? What mommy song she got? Does she? Anyway. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. 2 hours and 18 minutes. I think that's enough. I did what I needed to do. Okay. I'm over it. And now, come on, Coupon. You awake now? Just go live. Dang. Stop playing. You ain't half asleep. You half awake. So now click the live button. All right. Okay, you guys. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I hope that you have a nice night. Now, if Coupon goes live, I'll see you over there. And if she doesn't go live, then I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Smooches. Thank you for everything, guys. Talk to you soon. Smooches.